right, it is Wednesday, February 16th. Wednesday, February 16th. 17th, 2021. It's 2:31 a.m. I'm on my way to the gym right now. You know, most people think that, once they get to a certain age or once they get to a certain point in their life that they no longer have to keep learning or keep observing or keep being aware that life and things are changing. So we get to a point, and as hard as this is for me to believe, we get to a point where we think that we know enough that we no longer need to learn anymore. And what I've learned is that the more you know, the more you grow, and the more you grow, the more you start having a better understanding, a way better understanding about how much you don't know, how much your mind, as it starts to shift, your perspective changes, your outlook on life changes. As I've progressed and I've learned things, I would go back to old books that had shaped what I thought and shaped what I believed, and I'd reread these books and I'd relearn these books, and what I realized is that something was always different, not about the book, but about me and how I perceived what was in there. Meaning, when I read it the first time, I wasn't mentally mature enough to fully grasp everything that it was trying to tell me. But then the more I started maturing in life, the more that I can go back and start seeing it and saying, wow, this means something a little bit different. The same thing I've talked about, it was the biggest amazement to me growing up how people could go to church every Sunday, then go to Bible study, and then to go to midweek service, and then go to a conference, and they're constantly talking about the same book that consists of the same amount of pages written at the same time. Nothing's been rewritten, nothing's been revised, it's the same thing. And some people will go to church and go to services and hear this thing for 30 years straight. But I promise you, the more that they mature, the more that word starts sounding different, looking different, presenting different angles. And so when you're thinking that you've outgrown and that you've learned everything you need to learn, I would advise that you go back and do a refresher course on things that you've already studied, and analyze if you see it differently, if you hear something differently, if you perceive the content in a different light. Because I guarantee the more you mature mentally, the more your perception of what you thought was the truth becomes changed because of the current mental state of mind that you're in.